for tenderness, it isn't hard to find. You can have the love you need to live. But if you search for truthfulness, you might as well be blind. It always seems to be so hard to give.
Hi, hello, good night everyone. Welcome to another episode of UIC Liberty TV. Sorry for the interruption in the start there. Hope you can hear me clearly. Welcome to each and every one of you. Tonight is the 7th night of KWANZAA, the last day, and we're going to be dealing with the last principle. Good night, Lion Rule the Jungle. Good to see you on. So tonight we're going to be talking about honesty. Honesty of all things. I wanted to play a song for you, but I'm not sure why it's not playing. Let me see if I can find it, because I think it's such a lovely song for us to kind of kick things off with. So I'm going to try again to see if I can get it to roll. Didn't quite work out earlier, so I'm going to see if I can get it for you now. Some of you might know it. It might be a little bit too old for some, but let me see if I can find it here and if I can get it to play. Apparently not. Here we go. Let me see if I am. 1 second. Will it work? Let's see if it will work. Yes, it seems as if it will work. So I'm going to try to share it with you. Here we go. Give me 1 second. 1 second while everybody queues up. Cancel that. Let's try that again. Coming up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Let's see here.
If you search for tenderness, it isn't hard to find. You can have the love you need to live. But if you search for truthfulness, you might as well be blind. It always seems to be so hard to give. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard, and mostly what I need from you. I can always find someone say they sympathize if I wear my heart out on my sleeve. I don't need some pretty face to tell me pretty lies. All I need is someone to believe. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard. Mostly what I need from you. I can find a lover, I can find a friend, I can have security until the bitter end. Anyone can comfort me, promises again. I know. When I'm deep inside concerned. I won't ask for nothing when I'm gone. But when I want sincerity, tell me where else can I turn? Because you're the one I depend on. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard.
So that was a pretty old song, talking about honesty. I dug it up out of the archives. I think the gentleman's name is Taurus Riley. I think it is Taurus Riley, and a very, very old song. And tonight we're going to be talking about honesty, but not in the way you might think of. I'm going to pick a particular issue. One of the issues we have going around today in the whole stratosphere of politics is the issue of inequality, income inequality, and wealth inequality. And this is the first day of 2023. So happy New Year's. And I know many of you are making resolutions, some of which surrounds your income and how you're going to organize your life. And thank you very much, Lion with the Jungle. And welcome, by the way, Randall Hemmings. Happy New Year to you as well. And yes, time is running out for the other two puppies. Happy New Year, Kirk. Jojo, Happy New Year to you as well. Alice, good to see you on. Happy New Year to you and your family. Hope, Sister Jasmine Powell, good to see you on as well. Happy New Year. Marlene Henry, Happy New Year to you as well. Really a joy to be here with you on the first day of 2023. Now, it depends on which of the calendars you're following. Some of you are more academic than the rest of us, and you pay attention to some of the other important factors, like which calendar, which month is truly the first month of the year, and all of that. But generally speaking, all of us are on this calendar now. So January, the 1st of January, is the new year, so to speak. Long time, Marlene, good to see you. Thank you. Norman Smith, Happy New Year's to you as well. So everybody, please, like, share, and make sure that you're fully subscribed. As you know, this year we did things a little bit differently. We decided to introduce all of our members and supporters and candidates and well-wishers, and even those who are just watching from the sidelines. We introduced KWANZAA as a festival, a celebration, a holiday that the UIC subscribed to. KWANZAA is a Pan-Africanist, an international Pan-Africanist holiday that seeks to Africanize, if you will, Africanize the period from December 26th to January 1st. And so KWANZAA has 7 principles that we have been studying over the last 7 days. And so you would have been with me for some of those days, if not for all of them, where we looked at day number 1, which had to do with unity. And we learned that the focus must be on securing our individual liberty. Very important that we focus on liberty. You might recall that when we just started out the movement, the civil rights movement, if you will, the primary focus of our civil rights leaders and those who were fighting for the black man, the African, the focus was on liberty, because the black man, the African, in his new condition of being enslaved, recognized that nothing is more important than having the freedom to self-actualize, the freedom to self-determine, the freedom to chart one's own course, the freedom to set up one's own business, the freedom to trade freely with other people. And so the African, wherever he found himself, be it in the Caribbean or in North America or in Europe or in Asia or in his homeland of Africa, he knew deep down that the fight needed to be for his freedom, his liberty. And so that's what we were fighting for. That's what Nanny fought for. That's what Paul Bogle fought for. That's what Sam Sharp fought for. That's what Marcus Garvey fought for. But somewhere along the line, we missed the boat and started to fight for equality. Now, this is a serious thing to understand, because the moment we switched and stopped fighting for freedom and started fighting for equality, we became confused, we lost our way, and before you know it, we were so integrated that we now start to suffer from racism and segregation and all kind of different things, as opposed to being focused on our primary mission, which was supposed to be individual liberty. So day one, we spoke about unity, and we reminded ourselves that the focus of our unity must be on securing our individual liberty. Then on day two, we focused in on what individual liberty meant. What is this really? What is it about? And we learned that without individual liberty, we cannot achieve any of our other objectives, nor would we be a strong collective. So we put collectivity or collectivism in its right place. And so collectivism comes after, not before, individualism. And then once you understand that, you come together as a collective voluntarily. So now there's no force involved, there's no fraud involved. Nobody's forcing you to be a part of the collective. You're a part of the collective because you want to be a part of the collective. And you realize that the most important mission of the collective is to secure your individual rights. So you have the right to your life, to your liberty, and to your property. And then you can work now cooperatively to build your economy, build your education system, build your political system, build out your healthcare system, and build a strong and viable, sustainable community. But never, ever, ever forget the importance of protecting your individual liberty. So don't allow your collective to become a dictatorship. Don't allow your collective to become totalitarianism. Don't allow your desire for a collective to drive you into giving up your individual rights and ending up right back in slavery. And that, by the way, is where the world is going. So your school system, your economic system, all of it has been gradually skewing towards you ending up back in slavery fully. And this kind of slavery would be a modern form of slavery. So it's a trick. So you must question everything. Question the education they bring to you. Question the political model they bring to you. Question the economic model they bring to you. Question the healthcare model they bring to you. Because it may sound good on the surface. It may sound very nice on the surface. But underneath is lurking a deceptive design, which, if carried to fruition, will land you right back in chains. And the chains will be invisible. The chains may be taxation, where they tax away your income. The change may be regulations, where they regulate away your rights. The change may be simply that you wake up one day and find your education is controlled. So what is going into the minds of your children and into your mind and being fed to you by your media is something to dumb you down and take away your rights by stealth. You may find that your healthcare system, with all the nice sound about free healthcare and all of that, the long-term result of it is that you end up losing control over your body, losing control over what you can choose as medication, losing control over having the freedom to access medical services from persons who may not subscribe to the trick which is being foisted upon us. I hope you get me now. I hope you see where I go. Because if you don't see it, it will cause you to become wishy-washy on the UIC, to become weak and find yourself drawing back closer to what you should be running away from, simply because the UIC is not saying the kind of words that they want you to hear. You'll hear them use words like neoliberalism and capitalism and use all those things to throw you off so that you lose focus, because they've given you those words to mess up your mind so you can't see what is going on. But I want to encourage you not to allow your eyes to become foggy or your ears to become weak. Maximize your mental capacity now. Put your brain into full swing. And so on day 3, we talked about personal responsibility, where we learned that individual liberty comes with a personal responsibility to take deliberate action to secure your freedom and your future. And that means getting active now, active in the movement, active in your life, not being passive anymore, not just going along with anymore, but actively engaging in the fight to secure and protect your freedom. Once you have freedom, you can make heads or tail out of anything else. No matter what's going on, you can fix your economy, you can fix your health. But if you don't have freedom, you can't fix anything else because you've lost it. Day 4, we talked about a free and fair market economy, where we learned that we cannot have true freedom or individual liberty without a truly free market economy. So don't make them fool you. Don't make them trick you into hating what is best for you. So they trick you and tell you that free markets are bad. So what you're going to have? What is the opposite of free market? A slave market. The opposite of freedom is slavery. So if you don't have an economy which is free, meaning you are free to pursue what you want to pursue as long as you're not using force or fraud against anybody. You must be free to create, produce, and trade with other people, value for value, without any government stepping in to prevent you from doing that because some God above in their hierarchy says, no, you should not be allowed to buy or sell that. For example, look how they trick us for years with ganja. How did we get to the place where we allow government to make a plant provided by God illegal so that we can't even plant it in peace? You can't reap it in peace. You can't process it in peace. You can't sell it in peace. You have to get permission only after the colonial masters tell them it's okay to start to give you some form of permission. And when they give some form of permission, guess how they do it? They fix up a whole heap of laws and convolution so that really it's only the richer people in the society who will be able to go through the whole process. If you're poor, if you don't have the whole heap of money, if you don't have the big accountant or big lawyer to help you out, you can't navigate for them system. So the system is gate kept. They have gatekeepers to prevent the small man while flying the gate for the big man. These are the things we have to tear down. And if you don't pay attention to what I'm telling you, what will happen is they will fool you with them nice sounding euphemistic terminologies. Yeah, about we're trying to protect you. Just like how they're protecting us by wiping out any kind of financial schemes that you can come up with as a poor man. And so the only financial schemes you can participate in is the one that they regulate and organize through their big money players that locks everybody out, and you must go and beg them to let you in, to just give them your money, because you are not allowed to organize your own financial schemes. If they even allow you, it mustn't be more than a little partner. Wait a little 6 or 12 a week and mature a little partner and get a draw later on. Not a system that is scalable, that can be grown, that can allow you as the small man in your community to create your own banking system, to create your own financial wealth, to create your own economy. No, they don't want that. They want you to fit into for them little economy, not little, for them big economy that they design to lock out the majority and make you simply somebody who come and give a deposit or who sign up for the system that they have designed for you so that they can wipe out your pension plan when it suits them. They can steal your money through their fee structure as it pleases them. And if anybody else tries something, they make sure that it must be fraudulent, because the laws they write makes any other form of financial schemes fraudulent. You must go and do it the way they say, through the people that they authorize, so they can keep you under control. That's where we're heading. We're heading to a world where you will have absolutely no freedom. And that is why the UIC has always maintained that the most important thing to fight for is your freedom. And that's why a free market economy is the only economy that is congruent, that is equivalent to, that is supportive of your individual liberty. Then on day 5, we spoke about productivity. And productivity is aligned with our purpose in KWANZAA. So our purpose in KWANZAA, you can have many other purposes. Already we talked about individual liberty. But for day 5, the focus is for us now to use that freedom, use that free market, use that individual liberty, use that personal responsibility to be as productive as you can possibly be. The more productive you are, the more wealthy you will be. The more productive we are as a collective, the more powerful we will be. So we must aim to be more productive than anyone else, anywhere else in the world. And so the last time we met, we saw that Singapore was the number 2 most productive nation on the planet. Can you believe that? Little Singapore, which is 1/15 our size, which has 6 million people. And by the way, note, the only reason why Singapore has more people than we in Jamaica is because more than half of we had to run away and become economic refugees overseas. Yeah. If all 4 million Jamaicans were here that are overseas, we would have 7 million people or more here in Jamaica. So Singapore is only bigger than we in population because we have failed to create a country where most of us would want to live. So Singapore, their leaders, they're brilliant leaders. They're leaders with foresight. They're leaders who understand how to design a country. And by the way, they're not perfect. We have a much better design than Singapore. But what I'm saying is they have a great design that has worked for them. We can learn from, and I have taken the time to learn from, and I'm building on it. But they have built such a successful country that on every single metric, whether it's crime, their crime rate is 0.25 murders per 100,000. Ours is 46 murders per 100,000. We are among the highest in murder rate in the world. They are at the bottom in murder rate in the world. We are one of the weakest economy in the world. They are one of the strongest economy in the world. Their productivity level is second in the world. We are so low, we're not even on the chart. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you understand why I am stressing these things and why I spend the time that I do to focus on education? I'm not going to spend my time just keep talking to you about how bad the other 2 parties are. We know that already. I mention it from time to time to remind us so we can level set. But I want us to move beyond just talking about the 2 failed gangs. By the way, they haven't failed. They did not fail. They have successfully led us down the path that they were designed to lead us down. And now we have to take charge and lead ourselves out of the hole and make Jamaica into a brilliant country, a very safe, clean, and orderly country. So we have to do that. So again, the last time we met, we talked about productivity, and we know where we're going with that. On day 6, which was Saturday, we took a break because I was to do a financial seminar on Saturday, but we had a massive power cut in all the area, so we had to delay that for another day. But on day 6, the question would have been, or the principle would have been, creativity. Of course, we know that Jamaicans are very creative. And so once we have a system of governance that brings out the best in our people, you'll see the massive amount of creativity coming out of us. By the way, our governance model, the model that the UIC has put together, the model which is called a non-partisan constitutional republic, that model is very creative. We have found the answer to all the substantive problems of political systems. For example, we have found a model that is 100% publicly funded, so you never have big money being able to control our politics again. So once the UIC takes over, Jamaica will have a political system that is 100% publicly funded. Every single candidate, once they qualify, and they must qualify, they must demonstrate that they have the capacity to properly help to lead this country. We don't want any more of what we have now to be running our government. We want people who are qualified and competent, who have the reasoning ability, who understand civics, who understand economics, who understand history, who understand statistics, people who can make sense out of data, can analyze situations, can look at trends, and can also do comparative analysis and help us to make effective decisions by way of legislations. And so, our model is very creative. It solves the problem of big money. We kick it out. It solves the problem of partisan politics. We kick it out. It solves the problems of having dummies heading our ministries. We kick that out. And we have developed one of the most well-designed systems this world has ever seen. And when we implement that in Jamaica, Jamaica will become the model of good governance for the entire world. The entire world will be looking at and will be marveling at the system that we, the Jamaican people, the African people resident in Jamaica, the African Jamaicans, we would have designed a governance model that Africa will be able to use, that all the rest of the Caribbean will be able to use, and all the rest of the world will marvel at and say, and that we should have used. Even Singapore, you hear me talk about Singapore a lot? When we're done, Singapore will be talking about us a lot. They'll be saying, wow, and that we should have do. And they're going to now improve their countries based on our model. Just like how we were wise enough to look at what Singapore do, look at what Sweden do, look at what Norway do, look at what the US has done, look at what England has done, look at what Rwanda has done, look at what China has done, and take from them what is good and learn from them what is bad, and then build the best political and political economic model the world will ever see. So this is our gift, not only to the Africans in Jamaica and the Africans in all the rest of the diaspora and the Africans at home in Africa, but a gift to the world. You watch. And so that's our massive contribution to the creativity. Now comes day 7, which is today. In KWANZAA, the principle of day 7 is faith. Faith in something bigger than yourself. Not necessarily a religion, but could very well be your religion. But faith, that is the word in KWANZAA, that's the principle, to have faith. Well, we wanted to be more specific than that. We wanted you to have something more than a vague general idea of faith. We want you to be honest. Let your faith lead you to be an honest person, a person of integrity, a person who is trustworthy. You might recall last year, some people who were a part of this organization tried to suggest that I'm not a trustworthy person. They tried to suggest that I would steal from the monies that you have contributed to this organization. They tried to use the fact that the system is designed to prevent us from becoming a party, and then prevent us from having a bank account, and then prevent us from being visible to Jamaica. That system that is trying to keep us down, they joined with that system against us and tried to tear me down in the hopes of wresting this organization from my hands, from your hands, so that they can be able to run it into the ground. They failed. And the reason why they failed, because you were too smart. You could see straight through the lies. You could see straight through the deception, and you could see clearly that the person of Joseph L. Patterson is not a person who has any reason to be dishonest to you. If I wanted to be dishonest, it would have been very easy. I would not waste my time and my money and my energy building this movement. I would have gone to the the orange or the green, because anybody who wants to be dishonest, those are the best place for them to go. That's where corruption sits down. That's where corruption operates. So if a person wants to be dishonest, the UIC is not the place for them. This organization is about honesty, about integrity, about education, about empowering our people. And watch how we're going to empower people tonight. Because tonight we're going to be talking about a topic which I know many of you have been misled on. It is the topic of income and wealth inequality. You have heard many things. As a matter of fact, everywhere you turn on social media, particularly on YouTube, you will find a video on inequality. It is the new destructive ideology where they're trying to get you to be so fixated on inequality that they can lead you to revolt against any form of economic freedom and vote for governments to take away our freedom in order to make us economic equals. They want us to give up our right to be free so that they can make us equals. And the way they're going to make us economic equals is to make sure we cannot prosper. They want us to be minimum wage minded people. They want us to be minimum income minded people. They want us to be looking for a livable wage to be given to us by somebody. They want us to have a minimum basic income mentality. They want us to have a welfare mentality. They want us to be a government dependent mind. They want us to love checks coming from the government to us instead of us going out there and earning our way, creating our way, producing our way, having our freedom to earn our way through life. They want to take that away from us. They want to scare us. Oh, look, this person has so much and you have so little. You need to vote so we can go take what they are much to give you so that you can be equal. No, it's a trick. It's the same way them trick a bird. How you trick the bird? You put a stick, you tie a long string on the stick as far as possible away from a box that you put on the stick. And then you sprinkle some corn, little around the area, and let the bird come and eat it. And eat day one and eat day two. And you sprinkle it closer. Then you put it on in the box. And then just eat until they not pay attention anymore to what's going on. And they just draw the string, the stick move, and them trap. That's how they trap us. Them trap us with free education. Bet you never know that. Free education is the most expensive education in the world. Look at us today because of our free education. I guarantee you that if we never had free education, we the people would have educated ourselves anyway, but would have educated ourselves to be careful of all of those colonial powers that are trying to help us. Free healthcare. Free healthcare would lead you right into being injected against your will, to the point where in the future they will come and harvest your organs because you love freeness. The mindset they want us to have is a freeness mindset, which results in 1% of the world producing everything and 99% consuming. I, Joseph Patterson, want to encourage you to get out of that consumption-only mindset. Nothing is wrong with consuming, but you must have a balance. You must want to be a solid producer, and then you can enjoy your consumption. You don't want to get into that trap of consuming only, the trap which many Jamaicans have fallen into, because the more productive among us have migrated and them work hard in the snow and the cold and send them $50 and $100 and stuff to us. And many of us out here just sit down and wait for the money coming by remittance. You ever go by Western Union and see the long lines? And we just wait and we can't produce. No, to be fair to all of us, the system of governance we're under has robbed us of our freedom to produce. Everywhere you turn Makajukyu, the governments of the last 78 years have made it so very difficult for us to be able to produce, because they gatekeep the economy, they politicize the economy. Everything is about political connection. We're government-centric instead of productivity-centric. And so because of that, almost everybody have become some form of corrupt individual or scamming individual or begging individual. So the most active part of us here is scamming, begging, and corruption. Scamming, begging, and corruption. Why? Because the governance model and those who have led us into that model and have maintained that model has robbed us of our creativity, robbed us of our productivity, and therefore robbed us of our economy and our society. So if we want to change that, we have to become aware. We have to become knowledgeable. And so that's why the UIC is the education party, as they call it. We're going to educate, and educate ourselves so that we are in the position of freeing ourselves. Yeah? The Bible says, you shall know the truth and it will set you free. Truth sets us free. So, on the topic of income and wealth inequality, I want to make this statement upfront, and I hope you'll understand it. You cannot create prosperity without productivity. And you cannot eliminate inequality without destroying prosperity. I'm going to prove that to you tonight. I'll say it again. You cannot create prosperity without productivity. And you cannot eliminate inequality without destroying prosperity. So when the Prime Minister said to you that he's going to create 5% growth in 4 years, and he felt that by announcing it, it will happen. No, Jamaica cannot be prosperous until we all, generally speaking, becomes productive. So if we want Jamaica to be prosperous, we have to implement a meritocratic system that will engineer and incentivize for productivity. And right now, the system we have is engineered and incentivized for corruption and scamming and begging. You get it? Let me know if you get it. Write yes in the comment box. If you get it, say yes, I get it. If not, let me know so I know if I am off track. But I'll repeat that sentence again. You cannot create prosperity without productivity. And you cannot eliminate inequality without destroying prosperity. I say this because if you try to eliminate inequality, income inequality, wealth inequality, if you try to eliminate it, you can only do so by destroying the prosperous, by only destroying those who are most productive at creating prosperity. Because you're going to have to cut them down. You're going to have to find ways to bring them down, because it is normal for some among us to do better than some. It is normal for you to have 100 athletes and only one of them is a Usain Bolt. It's normal. It's normal for you to have 1,000 basketball players and only one of them is a Michael Jordan. It's normal for you to have several businesses, but only a few figures out how to be highly efficient, highly effective, customer-centric, very good at operations, excellent at financial management, perfect at learning and growth, and therefore they stand out than the others. So So if you're going to try to make us all equal, you're only going to achieve that by bringing us all down and getting us all on the same level in poverty. China tried it and killed millions of their people in trying to get that done through communism. Russia tried it and killed millions of their people in trying to get it done. And every country that has experimented with that nice sounding idea called socialism or communism, every country that has experimented with that, where they believe they must attack those who are most prosperous and productive to help the rest of us, every country that has done that has only made the lives of their people more miserable. So I am not going to sit here and try to win your love and support and your vote by playing games with you like people are telling me to do. They're telling me, oh, the UIC will really take off, if you go socialism. I am not going socialism. I am going pragmatism. Pragmatism means find out what works and work with it. Find out what doesn't work and avoid it. That's pragmatism. And the only economic model that brings out the most in people, that brings out the best in people, is a free market model. Now, the fact that others have also espoused free markets and then use the crony capitalist approach to rob us while claiming free market and then telling us that that is capitalism and look how bad it is. The fact that that happens does not change the fact that the truth is the truth. Now we need to understand how they tricked us and get us to believe a lie. And my job, my self-appointed job, by the way, is to bring this form of education to us and inspire us to choose pragmatism over socialism, communism, or capitalism. And so, let us learn that we cannot create prosperity without productivity, and we cannot eliminate inequality without destroying prosperity. So we don't want to destroy prosperity. So we're not going to try to make people equal in terms of their outcome. That's their prerogative. Leave everybody to decide how they want to turn out. Give them the empowerment, give them the space, give them the opportunity, and let each man decide according to his own initiative and ability. The problem we have in the world, you see, is not inequality. That's normal. The problem we have in the world is immorality. We are immoral by design, by education. Why do I say that? We need to establish a more moral society with a system of politics, education, and economics that even a child can understand and everyone can easily relate to and live. That morality is missing from our society. We're not sure what to do, and so we're blown and buffeted by every wind of doctrine. Every nice sounding idea, we're swayed by it. So if one person come and him have dreadlocks and sound nice, we're swayed by it. If one person come and she mix and have long hair and pretty face and can pose good on camera, we're swayed by it. If one come and him light skin and have what they call pretty hair and can speak charismatically, we're swayed by it. If one come and him black like tar and tell us that a black man time now and can speak good, we're swayed by it. I don't want us to be swayed by these things anymore. I want us to be firmly grounded in truth, grounded in understanding, grounded in wisdom. That's what I want. I want us to be grounded in understanding and wisdom, knowledge and understanding. We don't want a handout. We don't want a government we're going to take away from the rich and give to the poor. We want a government that stamps out the seed of poverty, not by bringing down anybody, but by bringing up everybody who wants to come up. I hope this is clear, because I don't want no more if you send me any message and tell me I need to use socialism to win votes so we can get in there. Because the goal is not to win votes so we can get in there. The goal is for us to win so we can transform Jamaica into a safe, clean, and orderly, free, and fair society. So as I said before, the problem is not inequality, it is immorality. And what we need is a system of politics, a system of education, a system of economics that even a child can understand and every one of us can easily relate to it and live it. Here's the system. Here's the system of morality. We're not talking church now. I'm not talking about any religion or any faith. You understand? I'm not talking about any highfalutin ideas that floats nicely on some euphemistic words and nice sounding words. I want you to get this. Here is the morality that we need in Jamaica. Here's how we need to be moral. Here's the morality I'm talking about. It's the morality that transcends all religions, all faiths. This is a morality that everybody can stand on, whether you are religious or irreligious, whether you are Rasta or Muslim, whether you're Christian or Hindu. This morality is the new morality we must have here in Jamaica and around the world if we're going to have a peaceful and harmonious, prosperous society. This is the morality that we need. Listen carefully. The morality that we need is simply this, that every single one of us have a right to be free. Every one of us has the right to be free. And therefore, if you are a free man or woman, you must be allowed by law to do whatever you want with your life, with your liberty, and with your property, provided you do not use force or fraud to infringe on the life, liberty, or property of others. Do you hear me? That is the morality that we need. If we have a world that says every one of us has the right to be free, nobody now have the right to decide how much picnic you must have. Nobody now have the right to say which injection you must take. Nobody now have the right to say where you must live. As long as you are not using force or fraud to infringe on the life, liberty, or property of somebody else, you must be entirely free to decide what to do with you and your family. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is the morality that we need. I'm going to say more, but tell me if I'm wrong. If you agree with that morality, say yes. If not, say no in the comment section. This is the morality which is missing. There are some people with a different idea. They have all kinds of idea of morality. They think that they must have the right to dictate to you. In the UIC, we even struggle with this. Some people don't like the idea that I am not embracing Christianity as part of the UIC's platform. I will not. The UIC will not embrace any religion. The UIC will protect your right to your religion. The UIC will protect your right to freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of choice, and by God, freedom of religion. So if you want to be a Muslim, go be a Muslim. You want to be a Christian, go be a Christian. You want to be a Hindu, go be a Hindu. But we're not going to use this movement to advance your religion. You must go advance your religion on your own. So if you want to advance Jesus Christ, go ahead. You want to advance Krishna, go ahead. You want to advance Muhammad, go ahead. You want to advance Buddha, go ahead. You must be free to do that, not by force, not by fraud, and not through the UIC. The UIC is here to advance one fundamental principle, that every man must be free. And the government, the role of government, follow me. So first of all, this is the morality. The morality is this. Every man has a right to be free, and therefore can do whatever him or she want with him life, with him liberty, or in property, provided he does not use force or fraud to infringe on the life, liberty, or property of others. Every picnic can understand that. Can you imagine when we teach our children in school that that is the golden rule? The golden rule is that you must be free as long as you don't use force or fraud by nobody. So the primary purpose of governance, therefore, is to protect the life, the liberty, and property rights of everyone, and to do so equally. So nobody is above or below this law. So nobody no get no extra rights, and nobody no have any of them rights diminished. The only way your rights will be diminished is if you try to use force or fraud to infringe on somebody else's rights. So it is not the role of government to make us equal financially. Let's get that through our heads. It is not the role of any politician to promise you that he is going to make anybody equal. Not even God make us equal. He make us equal before the universe, the laws of the universe. But some are short and some tall. Some fat and some skinny. Some can do some athletic feats that others can never do, for whatever reason. In the animal kingdom, some are big, some are small. Some are striped, some are plain. Some are aquatic, some are not. So anybody that's telling you that government must be used as an instrument to make us equal is a person leading you into a trap that is most destructive. And by the way, that person does not know history. Because if they knew history, they would know that every attempt by human beings to make us equal has always ended in tragedy of a most monstrous level. China, Russia, Germany. History is full of tyrants claiming they're going to make us equal and then using the power we give them to destroy us. We must learn from the past or repeat it with devastation. Very important. And so, this morality tells us that the role of government is not to make us financially equal, but to ensure we're each being treated equally before just laws. And notice I say just laws, because not all laws are just. A law that makes one man a slave to another is not a just law. A law that gives one man more rights than another is not a just law. And that's why Marcus Garvey said justice is greater than the law. So every law we make, we must test its justness. Every action taken by the courts must be tested for its justice. And so we want to make sure that we put government in a right place and preserve our individual liberty, our right to life, liberty, and property. Therefore, the government must exist. Listen now. The government must exist to protect our rights, while the Constitution must be written to protect us from government. And so the UIC, when we write the non-partisan constitutional republic, it will be a just republic where the people have the right to rise up and overturn any government which seeks to infringe upon the fundamental human rights of the citizens. So in the new Jamaica, nobody can come here and try to force the injection upon we in the UIC Jamaica. Them can do it now. What we have now is not a constitution written for us, not a government designed to protect us. What we have now is a colonial constitution and a colonial government. So our rights, while it may be written in some parts on paper to sound like we have them, elsewhere in the documents, those rights are taken away. That is why right now you can have endless states of emergencies, where the government can endlessly, every 14 days, enact a law to say they can stop and search and seize you at any moment. And they can lock you up if they feel they have cause for days and weeks. We have to guard against these things. We have to put an end to this. We have to make sure we stop it in our tracks. And so when you join the UIC, when you donate to the UIC, when you volunteer in the UIC, when you vote for the UIC, you are voting for you. You're donating for you. You're defending you. When you do that for the other parties, if you're foolish enough to do so, you are voting against yourself. Everybody who vote for those two parties, you must know that what you're voting for is for your rights to be stripped from you, for your future to be taken away, and for your children to become the slaves of those who control these governments. I hope I'm clear, because this is serious matter. This is a serious matter. So in this new morality that I'm talking about, no person, no group, no government must be allowed to initiate force or fraud against any other person, any other group, or any other government. Now, mark the word carefully, initiate. Force is necessary. Force must be used to defend one's self. Force must be used to defend one's community or family. Force must be used to defend one's country. But that force must be retaliatory. You are retaliating. It must not be initiated. So in this morality that we're talking about here, this morality is a morality that says you have a right to defend yourself from anyone, including a government which is stepping over its bounds. But you don't have a right to initiate force against anybody else to take what belongs to them. You mustn't murder nobody. That's what it means to initiate force to take their life. You must not enslave anybody. That's what it means to initiate force to take away their liberty. You mustn't rob anybody. That's what it means to initiate force to take their property. You must not defraud anybody of their life, their liberty, or their property either. So you mustn't sell a product and the label say one thing, the advertisement say one thing, but the product is really going to do something else. That is fraud. So in a UIC Jamaica, no company is going to get away with defrauding our people. And that's why, for example, we went kill bauxite mining, because that is fraud. The money they claim we're getting from bauxite mining will not match up to the devastation done to our people, to the devastation done to our land, the devastation done to our water, the devastation done to our air, and the devastation done to our farmers and the lives of the people who feel the after effects of what is emitted into the environment. So we're going to do away with all the fraudulent practices in Jamaica. So no company can come here and defraud us. No local businessman or woman can use fraud and get away with it in a UIC Jamaica. So some may not use outright force, that you can see it clearly. Some will use fraud. And so we say, no person, no group, no government must be allowed to initiate force or use fraud against any other person, any other group, or any other government. When this morality becomes the morality of the world, you're going to have a much safer world, a much better world. But until then, let's make it yaso in Jamaica. Let's make it right here, where we have the right morality, the right system of governance, the right system of economy, not the fake capitalism, not the fake socialism, not the fake communism, but a real system of governance that fully protects and represents the interest of the lowest minority, the individual. And that is why we're individualistic. I know they try to tell us how bad those words are. We understand the importance of protecting the individual, the single man, the single woman, the single boy, the single girl. And when you protect the individual, you protect the collective. But if you put the collective before the individual, you will destroy the entire collective. And that's what they're doing. They are working day and night to destroy this collective. And we must stop them by rising up and taking back what has been systematically taken from us. This is what Marcus Garvey was trying to teach us in his own way. where he was nearly 100 years ago. 100 years later, we're more backwards than we were when he was talking. And the time has come now, my friends, for us to rise up, take back our brains, begin there, take back yourself, take back our bodies, take back our education, take back our health, take back our economy, take back our country, and expand this to the Caribbean and expand it to Africa and rise up as a powerful African nation and show the world what good governance look like. We can do it. We must do it. We have to do it. God has ordained us to do it, whoever God is to you. This is how we create an harmonious society that will always have inequality of income, inequality of wealth, inequality of outcome, but a quality environment, an environment of equal opportunity, an environment which is safe, which is clean, which is orderly, an environment which is conducive for a poor boy like me, that born in an inner city Kingston, can come out to something good. If we can do that in a mess up world like this, we can do that even better with the UIC world we're going to create. So listen to me. Inequality is natural and occurs everywhere in nature. It exists under fake communism. When they had communism, big inequality. You had a few people in, for example, the Communist Party of China. Yeah? Those at the top live wealthy and big and polished, and then they get to dictate to those at the bottom who live in misery and poverty, and many of them die of starvation. That's inequality. But they call it communism because they say nobody owns anything. Everything is owned by us equally. Foolishness. Everything will never be owned by all of us equally. If you give a group of people something and say all of you own it equally, in no time it is destroyed. You ever see when a person dies, a person dies and leaves a piece of property to his children? Yeah, he has 10 children, him and his lovely wife, and they grow them so well. And then he dies after living for 86 years and leaves this property. And the 10 children now own it in common. He never named any one of them as being superior to the other. He never gave any special arrangements for anybody to have special say. All of you equally have it. 9 times out of 10, chaos, problem, issues, pain, sorrows, to the point where right across Jamaica, many of those properties are left in shambles, and then they're occupied by squatters. And the squatters, by the way, won't normally fix it up because and feed them one truly. So them don't want to spend the money upon it and then lose it. So it just sits there and rot away, and they live in the rotten environment. Not because they're bad, not because they're foolish. It's because of human nature. And so if you want better outcomes, you have to design them. So when I pass away, for example, my will must be so designed that that doesn't happen. I have to structure it so that the decision-making parameters are clear for my children so that they don't have to fight each other for what I leave. And I plan to leave a lot for my children. My mother, all she could give me was her blood, sweat, and tears to make me the best that I could be. She never had an asset to leave me. She hasn't passed away yet, but she never had an asset, no big asset, nothing. But she gave me the biggest asset of all, was an opportunity to be who I am today. And so if I use that asset well, I'll be fine. And I am using it well. So my 3 daughters, they are going to have a tremendous amount of asset that I would have used my God-given ability to create, to produce, and to bequeath to them. But I must also take responsibility for designing my end-of-life stages in such a way that it does not impact on them negatively, and that when I'm gone, my asset transfers to them in a way that does not create conflicts. That's my job, because I think ahead and I plan ahead. And when you have good government, like Lee Kuan Yew was to Singapore he did very, very well in the design of Singapore. So even after he demitted office and after he passed away, Singapore is still strong. He still made a few mistakes, which I will not make with Jamaica, because I've learned from his mistakes. I've learned from Manley's mistakes. I've learned from Siaga's mistakes. I've learned from Patterson's mistake. I've learned from Simpson Miller's mistake. I have learned from Bruce Golden's mistake. I have learned from Shearer's mistake. I have learned from Sangster's mistake. I have learned from Bustamante's mistake. I have learned from Norman Manley's mistake. And I am learning a hell of a lot from Andrew's mistakes. And so with all of that knowledge, we must make sure we don't repeat history, but that we master our destiny. Yeah? And so inequality is natural. It occurs everywhere in nature. It exists under fake communism. It exists under fake socialism. It exists under fake capitalism. In all three of those systems, in their fake form, an elite group controls everything and oppresses the majority. If communism was pure, then all the people would truly own everything equally, and nobody would be poor, and also nobody would be rich. And they would live a very basic, subsistent life, almost like cavemen. That's the end result of communism. Socialism, similarly, you'd have a pure government where everybody is equal, and the government just taxes and regulates in a perfect way that keeps everything in harmony. But of course, you can't have that, because those systems must lead to corruption, which they do, and which they have, and we get the results. And fake capitalism is capitalism in name only. Because if you understand capitalism, the fundamental of capitalism is this. It says, in capitalism, the economy must be free. A free market economy, and the government must not interfere with that economy. In true capitalism, the government is supposed to focus on prosecuting anybody who tries to use force or fraud. But it itself must not engage in the economy, must not gatekeep the economy. There's no such country on the planet. So we have not had true capitalism anywhere, but some countries have come closer to having a solid free market than others. Singapore has done a great job. Hong Kong did a great job. China, in recent years, after failing miserably for how many years with communism, started applying some free markets, and they got tremendous results. And now they're messing that up too, because they still have to go back to their normal way of doing things, which is a dictator ramming things down through everybody else. Yeah? And in socialism, they have never had a true one either, because it's always been messed up. But generally speaking, the whole world has operated on a mixed economy system, and a mixed economy system is socialism. And socialism, of all the systems, allows for the greatest amount of corruption. Remember, you cannot have the kind of government corruption under capitalism that you have under socialism, because capitalism, the government couldn't mess with the economy. So therefore, the donors would have no reason to donate to the politicians, because they wouldn't be able to mess with the economy. So you can't have that under capitalism. So the only place you can have rich people messing with the government is under socialism. You can't have it under communism, because under communism, there's no capitalism, there's no amount of free market, there's no rich person to control the government using their riches gained through some form of market economy and corruption. So the only place we're left with, the world as you know it, is primarily a socialistic world. And look at the results. Now, what I'm saying is hard for some people to listen to. It damages the ears. It makes them uncomfortable because they don't like truth. But today we're talking about honesty. Day 7 of KWANZAA, honesty. We're replacing the word faith with honesty because we want to be very specific. And so, if we're going to be honest, then what I'm telling you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when you take that truth, you now have to step back and recalibrate your mental frame and say, listen to me, I know what them teach me this for years. I know them want me to follow this particular ideals, but I have learned today what is really going on. And so today, I'm going to adjust my thinking accordingly. So, the problem we have with the system that you have been under is that it creates corruption, political corruption. The current system that we have in Jamaica, and for most of the world, but here in Jamaica in a very pronounced way, is that it creates political corruption, which creates a sense of hopelessness by stifling the upward mobility of the majority. It also comes with class warfare and identity politics. And so what you see as the problem of inequality is not really the problem of inequality. It's the problem of a system that creates political corruption, which then feeds into a sense of hopelessness. As people can't keep up with the whole heap of corruption, they look for things to blame. And then those who are causing the corruption, who are creating the corruption, who are using it to destroy us, feeds us a narrative to further pull us in a particular direction. And instead, the narrative is inequality, and we need to fix inequality by taking away your rights. So people are feeling hopeless. They're feeling stifled. They're not feeling like they can get up there in life, and they can move up in life. I said, what is the problem? Why me can't move up? Why me can't get better? And so they tell you it's because of inequality. You see those rich people who are making millions and millions, and you are down here, and them are the problem. And so to deal with it, we're going to put laws in place where we can take more of your taxes, where we can take more of your freedoms away, so that we can fix inequality. Don't let them fool you or even try to school you. The UIC's governance model eliminates all of the above problems. Not by eliminating inequalities, but by eliminating the sense of hopelessness, the classism, and the corruption created by the colonial system that we're under. We will ensure everyone has equal opportunity regardless of their economic starting point. And the way we do that is by ensuring that every child receives the nutrition, education, and healthcare that they need to succeed. And our education model is very different. It's not a government-centric model. It is Afrocentric, yes, but it is based on empowering the entire child to understand what's happening in him and around him, in her and around her, mind, body, and personality, human behavior, and money. And then applying all of that out now to all of the practical things he or she needs to learn to be able to make good decisions, work well with others, solve problems, innovate, create, produce, and prosper by trading value for value with others, not through political connection, not through special treatments, not through handouts, but by a system of merit. You earn your way through life. That is the morality we want to impart to our children. And for that to happen, they must see it working in principle. It mustn't be some teacher in a classroom telling you a bunch of baloney, and when you look outside, you see teacher suffer, policemen suffer, people are march and protest for their salaries. People have bun tire for roads to be fixed. People taxi drivers take off them taxi off the road because of unfair treatment. No, they must see a working society, a society that works because people are productive and doing it orderly. And so now, when you feed them this morality, it connects with their reality. So they have hope now. They have purpose now. They have meaning now. They can conscientiously participate in the classroom now, talk with the teachers now, and respect the teachers now, because what they're hearing in class and where going outside are connected. I wonder if you understand. If you understand, say yes. Type yes in the comment box. Let me hear. If you understand what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, if this is what you want for Jamaica, type yes in the box. Let me hear that this is what you think. Yeah, let me know. So not only are we going to ensure that every child receives the nutrition, the education, and the health care that they need to succeed, we'll go one step further. We're going to borrow from Singapore the fact that they have been able to make 93% of their population homeowners. We go and make 98% of ours homeowners. Every family under a UIC government will get a decent home in which to live, and the opportunity to work, earn, and pay for that home at a price that is below market value, using intergenerational mortgage if necessary, and based on their income level. What does this mean? It means we're going to make sure every family get a good house up front. We're not going to talk about years and years and years of waiting. It's going to be a massive housing boom in Jamaica, because we're going to give every family a decent home. And coming with that home is the opportunity to work and earn and pay for it. Mind you, once you have built this home, you have just created one half of an economic equation. The other half of the equation is the person working and generating value to pay for that home. So we're going to balance that equation by making sure that you have an opportunity to work, regardless of your level, your economic level, regardless of your educational level. There's work for you, and there's lots of work in a UIC Jamaica. You're talking about a massive farming complex that we're going to put in place, organic. You're talking about a massive alternative energy industry we're bringing in place, biogas, solar, geothermal. You're talking about a massive transformation in our tourism industry, where it now becomes all-inclusive for the entire island. So it's not community-based. So you're talking about some serious productivity-driven economic metrics aligned with making every family a homeowner. And that home is a decent home, not the little matches boxes that you're seeing out there. You're talking about 3-4 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, dining room, properly designed, brilliant architecture, designed for lighting, for airflow, and for maximizing how we harvest water and being able to even grow things vertically and within the different spaces, so that we're really ramping up our eco-friendly nature of living and growing. So yes, we have a plan. Every child receiving nutrition, education, and healthcare. Every family having a decent home. And listen to this. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. This is a significant transformative element in the whole scheme. Something never before done. Every natural born Jamaican, and their descendants will be given equal shares in the industrial and farmlands, and therefore will receive a financial dividend forever from the same. And those shares will automatically pass to their descendants in perpetuity. That's going to make sure that the land of Jamaica is never again said to be owned by the government of Jamaica or by any crown, whoever they may be, male or female, king or queen. The land belongs to the people and will be placed in the hands of the people and the hands of the people forever. No more property tax Instead, you're now getting a dividend from the land. This means that whatever productive purpose the land is used for, especially with the massive organic farms that we're going to bring in, you now are entitled to a dividend from that land forever, which we were not going to sell our land. We're going to keep our land. We're going to preserve our land. We're going to keep it under agricultural production mostly, so that we become the organic food capital of the world, and you become a shareholder in a business which is the land of your nation, and that goes on. You can pass on those shares to your children, and they get the dividends. And as long as Jamaica shall stand, your family, your child, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will continue to receive a dividend from the land forever and ever and ever. Amen. And so, my friend, that is our honest conversation for today. Thank you. Do we have any questions or comment, Madam Naika? Any questions you'd like to share? Yes, that's what we want, but we are going to do about criminals and corrupted people all over Jamaica now and tomorrow. So Sean, we talk about that in another show. So tonight I can't go over our crime plan again, but bear in mind that everything I've just described for you impacts crime in a very, how do I say this now? It positively eliminates the crime problem, all of what I've just said. If you don't educate your children properly with a proper moral framework, if you don't educate them properly, and if then you don't do the things I just described, then you will continue to have a massive crime problem. Yeah? All right. Next set of comments or question. In truth, the people are the government. We just employ a political party to manage our affairs. Yes, that should be the case, but it isn't the case because the Jamaican people did not approve the constitution that we now have, and have been living under a tyrannical government. Yes. Next comment. Strong directive going into the new year. We must master our destiny. Absolutely, Sonia. Absolutely. Next. Next question or comment, if any. The UIC Constitution ensure the government work for the people. Government will be forced to protect the people. Absolutely, Mr. Romans. Our Constitution will now make the government the servant of the people instead of its master. Next question or comment. So everyone, please, if you have a comment or a question, now is the time. If you have a question, please put it in. Also, feel free to let me know what you thought of tonight's program, if it was good or bad or not good at all. In a future session, would you speak more about how the UIC government will avoid going to the IMF repeatedly for bailouts? Sure, Jojo, I spoke about this before by letting you know that we're going to move to a true money model of governance. So we will no longer be borrowing at interest from either private banks or from the international banking cartel, because we won't need to. We're going to go to a true money banking system. We're also going to go to a free banking system, which means that Jamaica will now have a lot more competition in the banking space. And it will be a right for you to get a bank account. So you won't have to go and beg one. The bank must give you a bank account if it wants to operate in Jamaica. Next, Lady Williams, that's right, no squatting a day again. Can something be done to get our lands back from these squatters without a big fight? Jojo, there are no squatters in Jamaica. There are persons who have been denied their right to land and were forced to find ways to survive. So please don't call them squatters. And we're not going to have a big fight because it's very simple. All those persons under the UIC will now have access to a home, a decent home built properly, and they will have shares in the land and now become landowners themselves by the new system. So under the UIC, all of the squatting problem will go away. All the garrisons will go away. All the, what you call them again, the garrison communities, the squatter communities, and the ghettos There'll be no more of those. Jamaica is going to become a safe place, a clean place, a beautiful place, well designed architecturally, and well managed for optimal living. Next question or comment? Mr. Patterson, UIC movement, would you get an interview with a former FBI agent that is so passionate about Jamaica crime plan? Purpose driven, sure, go ahead. Contact him or her and let him know that we're willing to interview them. And then you can reach out to us on our number, 293-0812. So 876-293-0812. Next question or comment? The 4 pillars of governance of Singapore. Sure. Basically, it's the same thing for the UIC. So, number 1, eliminate corruption in government. Have a zero tolerance policy for corruption in government. Number 2, create a very safe environment so that people don't worry about safety anymore in carrying out their daily lives. Number 3, create a very clean and beautiful environment so that you lift the spirit, you lift the mindset of the people and bring out the best in us. And number 4, you create an orderly environment where it's very efficient. You can get things done quickly and orderly anywhere throughout the country, dealing with the government and so on, proper road networks and all of that. So those are the 4 pillars that help Singapore, and the same 4 that's going to help us as well. Next. I know I'm going fast because I'm running out of time. What about the digital currency rolling out plan for Jamaica? Dangerous, a very dangerous plan. I implore all Jamaicans to not participate in the digital currency. Give them hell. Do not join up. And they're going to force you. They're going to force you through your bank. They're going to force you through your employer. They're going to force you through the government services. But I implore you, resist, resist, resist. Don't take it if you want to protect your freedom. Next question. All right. Well, thank you all very much for your questions and your comments. I'm told that this is it for tonight. Please give me a rating now. If it's 100%, put 100. If it's 0, put 0. But please let us know. And you can always go back when I close the program as well and share with us your comments, because all of these comments you're giving now, they're going to be gone in terms of on the comments list online. So feel free to, when I close the program, on our YouTube page here, UIC Liberty TV, or if you're on the YouTube page, UIC Jamaica, please write your comments in. Get all your family and friends to subscribe. We need them to, be connected so they can hear from us as soon as we're going live. Let them know to join us. Jojo says Jamaica is so beautiful already. Can't wait to see how great it will be on the UIC. Yeah, man, it's going to be really good. Sean Campbell, thank you for the 50%. Do put a comment in the comment area. Let me know why you say 50%, please. Go back and write that in so I can learn from you. Donnery King, people of Jamaica, we need to pay attention to the UIC. This party is the last hope for Jamaica. We need to donate. Absolutely. It's very important enough for all of us to donate, because the UIC, all our plans are meaningless if we don't get elected. And we will not get elected unless you fund the movement. Yeah? Only if ordinary Jamaicans fund. We're not taking money from the big wigs who want to control us and get us to lie to you and trick you and then go to election and tell you all kind of stuff, and then when we're elected we do something else. So if you want what we're talking about, if you want this new Jamaica, you have to donate to the movement. You must donate. We need 1,000 donors giving $25 a month. Good news, when I checked last night, I think, we had about 100, or this morning, 199 donors now. Up to December 31st, 199 donors who have contributed $50 or more Canadian equivalency. That's probably about an average of $40 US we're getting. And about 199 of you contributed. So we need to get to 1,000. So 801, please, let's get there as quickly as possible. Share this live, share all of our lives or all of our videos as much as possible. Get your family, get your friends, get your neighbor, get your co-worker, get your enemy, anybody. Get them to subscribe to the channel so that we can bring the numbers up. So when we send out, more people can get it and can share it and watch, right? We're depending on you. Without you, we can't reach anywhere because we're blocked by regular media. You know that. We're not on the regular media. We're even blocked by social media. We're being shadow banned there. TikTok, we're being shadow banned everywhere. Nobody knows why if you hear from me, right? They're trying hard to make sure so you can't hear from me. But them I got tired to see the face because we're still going to try any way possible. So please send us your $25, your $10, your $5, your $100. We need it to win the next election. We cannot do it without you. I must go now. So thanks again. Happy New Year. Remember, one Jamaica. We're stronger together. Love you all. This is our future. This is our Jamaica. Let's fight for it to the bitter end. Have a good night. All the best.